Welcome back to another episode of Young Guns. Today it's just me and special guest Dad.
Walt Proulx.
Walt Proulx, my dad. And we wanted to kind of talk about our journey through the shooting sports because, as you know, we're father and son, and we are one of the few that I know of father-son duos in competitive shooting sports that are on the actual same team, sponsored by Wilson Combat, sponsored by the same company. You don't see that a whole lot, and we've been doing that for quite a while now.
Yeah, it's Austin said it. It's really interesting. It's been one of the highlights of my life to have been part of this journey. I can count the number of weekends where I didn't spend at least one day with my son on one hand, and that's gone back to even when he was very, very young, and we would go hunting together. More like I'd go hunting and he'd come eat all the donuts. So. But when Austin turned 13, we started getting into the competitive handgun shooting, and boy, he took to it like a dog to water. He decided he was going to quit baseball and focus on shooting, and I recognized from very early on the skill and the potential that this kid had. It was evident that young. It wasn't just a proud papa talking, but I told people at our local club, this guy's going to be a national champion someday. And of course, they're all, oh yeah, every dad says that, right? We'll see. Year before last, with that, no, it was with your other gun.
Yeah,
but,
it was a single stack.
Shooting CCP, national champion, and handily. What this guy does with a compact carry gun, open sights, it's unbelievable, the performance. I mean, he's beating master class carry optics and PCCs, and he's doing it with a mouse gun. I could go on and on because this is my moment to be proud of everything he's done. But what we've been able to do together as father and son, there have been a number of matches where we've finished first and second, more often first than second, but I'll take it,
It's been a cool ride. It's been a really cool ride, and I mean, in my mind, all the credit goes to you because, when I'm 13, I can't be buying those plane tickets and driving around to those matches. So you really made all of it happen the entire way. You were the one forcing me to practice when I didn't want to, and now that we were always pretty good about that. If we were practicing, it was because we were both wanting to. But yeah, there's not much of this that I can really take credit for. And you mentioned going way back to when I was 13. There's kind of a cool story wrapped up in that. If our viewers out there have been reading the IDPA Tactical Journal since that time, then they might have seen about it or read about it in there. I actually broke my arm shortly after I quit playing baseball to start shooting because, I wasn't going to be able to do a team sport and do this at the same time. You weren't going to let that happen. I'd committed to a team, and if I was going to be on the team, I was going to be there 100%.
That's right.
I was actually in middle school and just PE class playing basketball and fell down and broke my right arm. It was right at the wrist.
2 weeks after we shot our first ever IDPA match, actually.
And I was pretty enamored of the whole gun thing. And, the right arm's pretty important when it comes to competitive shooting. So went in, got a cast from the doctor, and then told him, hey, we do this, and we would really love if there was a way to be able to accommodate continuing to do that while I've got a broken arm because I don't want to stop shooting. So they let me take the frame of the all stainless SIG 220 into the doctor's office, and they cut off the first cast and molded the second cast to the grip of that 220. And I was
taking pictures the whole time.
Yep, and I was able to continue shooting with a broken arm with a cast molded to that pistol. He said, hey, that's pretty cool. You like writing, you should write an article about it, and we'll just send it off to IDPA and see what they do with it. I did, and they ran that in the Tactical Journal, which is the members' quarterly magazine for IDPA, and that kind of turned into a brief writing career with them. I had
3 years.
Yeah, had a quarterly column in there from a junior shooter's perspective. What are challenges that I run into? What is it like going around and shooting as a junior who's still a fairly young person? And that eventually turned into interviewing Bill Wilson and doing an article for Combat Handguns, and that kind of helped develop the relationship between us and the Wilsons. And we continued shooting through the years, and both of us were shooting CDP, and we both bought our own Wilson Combats eventually.
We quite literally might not be sitting here right now if you had been a good basketball player.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just a little bit less clumsy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we had been getting better and better and traveling around and shooting more matches. And as far as we know, I was the first, and still as far as we know, the only junior shooter to bump to master in CDP. And shortly thereafter, I got a hold of Bill just to kind of pick his brain about, sponsorship and what I should do. I wasn't necessarily looking for one from him, but I was like, okay, I'm getting better at this. What do I have to do to, become sponsored? What are the next steps? Who should I start talking to? And he basically said,
You just did.
You just did. And that just started a whole new cool chapter. And they added you to the team a couple of years later. And we've been out there trying to kick butt and take names as a father-son duo, and been doing a fairly decent job at it since then.
I'm just glad I scared you out of CDP.
Yeah, had to run away and switch over to CCP. And like you said, I was shooting the single stack when I got my national championship. That was before they changed the mag capacity in the CCP. So I switched it up a little bit and picked up the SFT9, and I've been in love with this thing ever since. But you've been shooting pretty much the same pistols since before you joined the team. Yeah,
I've always been a big 1911 guy. Revolvers too, but the 1911 is, in my opinion, sort of the revolver of the autoloader world.
Well, in revolvers, because you used to compete with revolvers.
That's right. That's right. I used to compete with revolvers. An old Smith & Wesson 686, and shortly after starting to shoot IDPA and shooting 1911s, I picked up my first Wilson Combat, and the difference in the fit and the finish and the function and the reliability, it's hard to even quantify. But you can pick up a Wilson Combat if you're someone who shoots enough and shoots 1911s in particular, and with your eyes shut, you can tell if what you're holding is a Wilson Combat versus a Kimber, a Smith & Wesson, or some of the others. And we're in an embarrassing era of incredible riches in firearms recently. So that's not to say those aren't, good products, but the difference is, well, you can tell when you're blindfolded. It's just that much better. And I've heard it said that 1911s don't run reliably. Well, maybe some don't, and I think that's really on the low end nowadays. But the fact that a Wilson Combat can run as long and as dirty as they do, I don't know of any others that can. This is the test mule right here for how dirty can a 1911 run.
Yeah.
The answer is there is no limit. I've seen him with an excess of 3,000-4,000 rounds through a 1911 where the slide literally is slowing down to where you can see it cycle, and he just goes and drizzles more oil and it keeps going. And it's because it's a Wilson Combat. Truly, they're the only ones that I know of that can do that. And the quality has translated over into this new SFT line. The whole top end of that is 1911 through and through, and that they've managed to put a double stack into that thin little grip.
Yeah, if you actually compare the frames here,
it's actually smaller.
Pretty similar.
It's smaller than this, and that's a double stack.
Yeah, it's got essentially twice the capacity.
You can run up to what, 18?
With the extended base pads from Wilson, I can fit 18.
So you're relevant and competitive. You could take that and shoot USPSA Limited.
I have been.
And win.
I have.
It's remarkable.
Yep.
And the new texturing that they're putting on those, the new proprietary texturing it's like it was built out of skateboard tape.
Yep.
I'm gonna have one of those soon. I love that gun.
Yeah, on Spider-Man when he starts touching the wall and sticking to it.
Yeah,
it's kind of what that's like.
It is. It's amazing. You better have a good grip on it when it comes out of the holster, because I don't think you're going to be shifting your hand very easily after the fact.
Yeah,
it's been a fun run that we've been able to explore and be a part of the new product development here and try out all the new stuff. And so much of it is so good, and the fact that the company takes so much input from the team members for product development, I can't say enough good things about a company that thinks highly enough of their shooters to take all that advice from them in product development. I know that not everybody does that.
And speaking of the team, I don't know of another team in the shooting sports that is as close-knit as
Brothers
the
and
Wilson Combat
sisters.
Team. You hear this thrown around a lot, but it really is like a big family.
Yeah.
Anyone on the team would do anything for anyone else on the team. We actually enjoy seeing each other when we go to matches.
Yeah.
You know, we schedule things so we can hang out together, and it's really a treat because they've selected good people to be a part of the team. Everyone gets along well, everyone supports each other, everyone helps each other out.
Yeah, we're interactive. We're not just members of the same team. We're interactive as friends and family.
Yeah, we truly are friends outside of matches.
Even you and me.
I know. We a
little bit.
Try not to let people know, but yeah, and it's been, like you said, it's been a really cool journey, and there's another new chapter opening up now. I mean, we're still pursuing the competitive shooting thing, and now we went ahead and started our own rifle sport.
Yeah, the Ultimate Hunter.
Yeah, Ultimate Hunter rifle competition. The blend of competition and hunting meant to lower the barrier of entry to rifle sports and make it accessible for anyone that already hunts. Anyone that hunts big game or varmints in North America probably has all the stuff they need to be competitive right out of the gate. So,
and even the genesis of that sport, it was born out of our travels together.
Yep.
We talked about developing this sport on the hundreds of hours of windshield time that we had together driving to matches or sitting on an airplane. And granted, it wasn't always in agreement. We had some pretty fierce arguments about it, and it was usually over this much of a difference between two ways to do the same darn thing. But boy, we'd get pretty adamant about our positions, but we always settled on that which most closely adhered to what would benefit the biggest number of competitors, mostly coming from the hunting world, but not strictly. In fact, we've seen some interest from the law enforcement tactical side wanting to shoot Ultimate Hunter matches.
Yep.
For the same reasons. The same skills are necessary in that effort as they are in hunting. So
fast, accurate engagement out to 500 yards from improvised positions.
Yeah.
That's what the game is essentially. We've seen 3-gun shooters that want to, brush up on their long-range engagement game because there are 3-gun matches where you're shooting farther and farther distances, and they want to bring their ARs out there with their 1-6 and see what they can do.
And we weren't exclusive in our information gathering. We didn't really hold this tight to the vest. We let it be known amongst dozens and dozens of people that we respect and have known for years. Well, one of which was, Bill Wilson himself. We went and visited Bill and said, hey, we want to start this new rifle sport. And he's had a hand in developing some pretty big shooting sports himself.
Yeah, we've been working on this since 2017, and we've talked to people from pretty much every background throughout the process of creating this. One thing we haven't mentioned as far as this goes is that we're not going to limit this to exclusively rifle shooters. We will soon have an archery, muzzleloader, handgun, and rimfire version as well. So
they're already well along in development, actually.
Yeah, so depending
the rule
on
sets are done.
Depending on when this video gets released, that might already be up and rolling, but we're kind of biting off more than we can chew and chewing as fast as we can at this point.
And we've been inviting in experts from all of those fields, muzzleloader aficionados and archery experts and big bore handgun folks, and inviting them to be a part of development committees for this. So this hasn't occurred in a vacuum by any stretch. We want the best possible product at rollout that we can possibly have. So yeah, it's been fun.
It'll be cool to see where it goes. It's hopefully I'll be able to work myself out of a day job with that, and then focus more on shooting and more on developing that, and
support me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just another cool new chapter to see where the shooting sports will take us.
Yeah.
And if we wouldn't have started, it was actually Father's Day in 2011 was the first match we ever went to.
Wow, it was, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah. So if we wouldn't have gone out and given that a try,
we shared a gun, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It was your SIG. You picked up a flyer from the local Sportsman's Warehouse for the local club, and said, "Let's go."
We didn't even know for
about.
Sure we were going to shoot, right?
Yeah, you brought like an Uncle Mike's holster and like some leather mag carriers with the flap that goes clear down to the bottom of the mag carrier and has a little snap button down there.
Like a saddlebag.
Yeah, we showed up and they said, "Do you have guns?" And he was like, "Yeah." "You got a holster?" "Yeah." "Okay, you're going to shoot. You're not going to watch. You're going to shoot with us." And we fumbled through it.
We had to keep trading gear.
Yep. yeah, what a cool journey it's been since then.
Yeah.
And like you talked about earlier, the bonding that we've gotten to do since then, I don't know of any other fathers and sons really that get that kind of opportunity, and to share the cool competitive aspects of it and traveling and just spending all that time together. It's a pretty special deal. Yeah, it's been pretty cool. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, hop down in the comments, talk about some stuff that you do with your children.
Share your journey.
Yeah. Let us know the cool stuff that you guys have done. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you'll catch us for the next episode of Young Guns. I had to wrap that because I was going to start crying like a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to decide if I had to lean over and hug you or not.